Hi everyone, I'm Rosie and welcome to Vox Yoga. Today's practice is all about alignment. So in singing, we always have to think about how we're standing, but we often think about posture and standing up straight. In reality, we don't want to stand dead still. Posture seems quite of a static thing. So really we want to think about alignment, allowing our body to feel more free, thinking about each part stacked on the next. Everyone's body's different, and remember that our spine is curved. We can't stand up straight. Instead, we need to think about finding length and making space. So in yoga, we are often thinking about our alignment, and yoga is actually great to improve our alignment. So we're going to move through a short flow and just really think about what our body is doing in each posture and how we can translate that into our standing alignment. So come to the top of your mat or the space that you are working in today. We'll start off moving through a very slow sun salutation, just to warm up the body, warm up the spine, and then also think about the best alignment for you in that pose, so that when you speed this up or move with one breath per pose, you feel comfortable in that posture. So come to your standing alignment, and first of all, just scan up the body and think, what do I naturally normally do when I stand? Do you maybe grip the knees, lock the knees? Do you know you do that so you naturally have more of a bend? Does your pelvis tilt forward so your butt sticks out? Do you tend to tuck it under, which maybe rounds the back a little bit? What about your shoulders? Are you very open, a little bit more hunched? And then the neck and the chin as well. Do you naturally jut the chin forward or maybe up a little bit? Are you very tucked in the chin? So just think about your natural alignments and your habitual way of standing. On your next inhale, reach the arms up overhead and breathe here. So keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Ensure that you're lifting out of the torso here. We often want to add a little back bend, which can feel great, but make sure you're not thrusting your hips forward. Feel a little bit of length, palms can touch. You can gaze up if it feels good. Inhale. Exhale, slowly fold forward from the hips. Breathe in your forward fold. Just nod and shake the head. Then think, how much of a bend in the knees do you want here? How wide does it feel? How wide are your feet here? Does that feel comfortable? Just swing from side to side a few times. And come back to neutral and feel your forward fold. On your next inhale, lift halfway to a flat back. Breathe here. Hands can come to the shins or the thighs, or maybe your fingertips are staying on the floor. We often call this a flat back, but again, can our spine really be flat? Instead, think of length throughout the spine and the neck. Feel like the tailbone and the crown of the head are drawing away from each other to create length and space. Breathe into your flat back posture. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the palms, come to plank. Breathe here. You can drop the knees at any time. So once more, imagine that length, this time out the crown of the head and the heels almost drawing away from each other to find length. Again, check that your hips aren't sinking, but also that you're not lifting the sit bones up too high here. So really press into the fingertips, maybe the knuckles are a little lifted. Keep the neck long. If you practice a lot of yoga, you might want to think about the shoulder blades drawing away from each other. This helps gain strength for things like handstands, but it might feel better to just have that length with the shoulder blades drawing together a little bit more. Good. Everyone drop the knees, bend the elbows, come down to the mat. Now bring your fingertips off the mat, elbows at a right angle to each other, and we'll just warm up the spine. So on your inhale, pressing out the fingertips, lift the chest, look forward. Exhale, back down to the mat. Follow your own breath, creating a ripple through the spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now we'll find our Cobra here. Cobra is our low back bend. We want to make sure we are lifting out of the thoracic upper part of the spine, not the lower back. So lift your palms off the mat. Then inhale, lift the chest, look forward. That's your Cobra. This will help just really strengthen the spine rather than pushing out too much and putting pressure into the lower back. Breathe into it. And release. Plant the palms, tuck the toes, come back to the knees, and then pressing up to downward facing dog. So lift the sit bones to the sky here, and we'll have a little bit of movement before we find stillness. So pedal out the feet. Maybe you hold one leg straight, the other bent, stretching into the hamstring. Then the other. Then come to stillness in this pose. So you want your heels drawing towards the mat, but they may not be near touching. Slight bend in the knees or a generous bend if that feels good. Again, weight in the fingertips, shoulders away from the ears. Ensure your neck is free. Great, then slowly walk the feet to the hands. Once more for our forward fold. On your next inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, palms can touch. Exhale, mountain pose. Breathe here. And mountain is your standing alignment in yoga. So hands can be by the side, maybe as we're thinking about our singing, standing alignment, we'll keep the hands by the side today. Or if you enjoy hands in prayer, go with that. In a moment, we'll move through a standing flow. We'll go through the vinyasas, where we have one breath per movement with our plank, our Cobra. If you already have Chaturanga, an upward facing dog in your yoga practice, then feel free to substitute that. So the postures in our standing flow are going to target the hip flexors and also the hamstrings. So in our standing alignment, a lot of what happens will be dictated by how our pelvis naturally sits. So if you are someone who their pelvis tilts forward, you have an anterior tilt, it's likely that you may have tighter hip flexors. If you've been doing a lot of sitting down lately, as many of us have during the last year with COVID life, you might find that you have a bit more of a forward tilt. If you're naturally a bit more tucked under like this, you can see that it kind of makes you a bit more hunched. You will probably have more of a bend in the knees. That can mean that your hamstrings are tight. So moving through this flow, we'll think about our alignment in those postures, but also think, oh yeah, that feels good when I stretch my hip flexors. How does your pelvis respond when you do that, for example? So it's thinking, what feels good that you can translate into your standing posture? So once more, come to the top of your mat. Just have a little bit of movement, roll the shoulders, bend the knees. Then feel like you've got a piece of string pulling you up, lengthen out through the spine and the neck. Inhale, reach the arms up, palms can touch, gaze up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward folds. Plant the palms, inhale, plank. Option to drop the knees. Exhale, bend the elbows, come down to the mat. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up high. Exhale, right foot to right hand, low lunge. Inhale, lift the torso, lift the arms up. Exhale and breathe here. So once again, coming to our alignment. First of all, bend the left knee, the back knee. This will keep the pelvis happy. Then move to straighten that back leg. So the heel just draws towards the back of the mat. That will set your pelvis up in a good place for you. If you find that straightening the leg makes you really tilt the pelvis forward, maybe you keep a bit more of a bend in the back leg. If your right knee is maybe drawing in a little bit, try and think of the right knee going over the second and third toes. But again, it's what feels comfortable for you. Hips aiming to feel forward here, shoulders away from the ears. Keep breathing. Great, flatten the back foot now for warrior one. So the back foot will be about 45 degrees now, angling in. How has your pelvis responded to flattening that foot? Are your hips still facing square to the front? They may be a little bit more out to the side here. Do what feels right for your body. Once more, think about that front knee. Trying to keep it over the ankle, but again, finding the best option for you. Release the arms, interlace them behind the back, drawing them down so you have a sense of openness in the chest here. Coming forward for humble warrior. Inhale, feel an opening in the chest, lifting out of the torso. Exhale, tipping the torso forward. And we're going to stop at a flat back. So you might just be here, you might be a little bit lower, but think of length through the spine and the neck with that length that we have in our halfway lift flat back. Breathe wherever you are. So your torso might be resting on your thigh, or you may be able to come a bit lower. Once you're set up in the posture, a little bit of rounding the back is fine, and then you might lift the palms towards the ceiling. Breathe into it. Good. Release the fingertips to the mat here, then straighten the right leg. Great, then bring the left foot in about a foot. And then bring the hands to the hips here. So coming to pyramid pose, but once more we're starting with that flat back, that length in the spine, and you're going to feel a great stretch down the hamstrings. And again, you may have to experiment with how far apart you want your feet to be, both vertically and horizontally here. But we do want a shorter stance. So once more, flat back, length in the spine, micro bend in the knee to protect during this hamstring stretch. Then if you can keep that length, start to maybe come forward a little bit more. And And then you always have the option to drop the fingertips to the mat, or maybe round a little bit once you've found the start of the stretch. Once you're comfortable in the stretch, breathe into it. Great. Vinyasa coming up. If you want to skip it, just come to a forward fold or downward facing dog. Or join me, bend the right knee, plant the palms, left toe comes back for a low lunge. Right foot meets it. Inhale, plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, option to drop the knees, come down to the mat. Inhale, Cobra, maybe upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up high. Exhale, left foot to left hand, low lunge. Inhale, lift the torso and the arms up. Exhale, breathe here, crescent lunge. This might feel totally different on this side. So once more, think about your front knee. Can you keep it over the ankle? Is it drawing in a little bit? Drawing out a little bit? Trying to aim for the knee over the second and third toes. Once more, bending the right knee, then drawing the heel back to straighten it. Just think how your pelvis feels here as well. Does it feel neutral? Do you still have a bit of a tilt or a tuck? Lovely stretch for the right hip flexors here. Coming to warrior one, flatten the back foot. Thinking 45-degree angle here. Is that shifted your front knee maybe, your hips, your pelvis a little bit? Trying to energetically, internally rotate that right leg. Release the arms, interlace the palms. Again, making space in the chest, in the heart. Coming to humble warrior, flat back, lengthen spine. Inhale, lift through the crown of the head. Exhale, tipping the torso forward. Keep that length, hold it there. Breathe. Maybe on an exhale, you come a bit lower. And if you're comfortable in the posture, you can start to round forward a little bit and lift the palms towards the sky. Good. Release the fingertips to the mat, frame the front foot. Straighten the left leg, feel great after that. Bring the back foot in about a foot. Once more, bring the hands to the hips for a flat back, lengthened spine. Again, it might feel different on this side. Thinking about the distance between your feet both ways. Feel the left hip crease drawing back. And again, crown of the head, tailbone drawing away from each other. Maybe on an exhale, you come a little bit lower, maintaining the length. And you might bring the fingertips down to the mat and have a slight rounding forward. It's also a great pose to use blocks to rest the hands on. Also bringing the hands behind the back into reverse prayer feels good sometimes. So you can explore this option. Option to skip our final vinyasa and come to forward fold or down dog, or bend the left knee, plant the palms, right toe comes back, low lunge, left foot comes back to join it. Inhale, plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, maybe drop the knees. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe here. Maybe you have a tiny bit of movement, maybe you just find stillness. Either way, think about the best alignment for your body in this posture and breathe. Good. Bend the knees, look forward. Step walk or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come up, overhead, palms touch. Exhale, mountain. Breathe here. Hands in prayer or bring them to your side. Breathe. If your hands are in prayer, just release them. Roll the shoulders. Then we'll find a good standing alignment. So, working the way up the body like we did before, but this time with more awareness of what feels good for your body. Feel grounded through the feet. Think about the knees. Can you feel that micro bend again? Come to the pelvis. Does it feel different to before? Have you found your neutral? Do you need to still have a little bit of movement to explore this? Come to the breath. Can you feel expansion and contraction with the breath, or are you just letting it happen? Come to the chest and the shoulders. Do the shoulders feel released? Are your arms just hanging there? Can you feel a sense of broadness and openness in the chest without having to push it forward? So feel that sense of ease. And then the neck. If you need to have a little bit of movement here, maybe nod and shake. And just come back to the body and think, yeah, this still feels like my body, but I've got more of a sense and awareness of what my alignment could be or should be, maybe just new things to explore. Good, then shake it out. So shake the arms out, shake the feet out, roll the shoulders, get the hips moving. Take a big inhale, sigh it out, and then come back to that standing alignment once more. And just check in and think, how do I feel? Shut the eyes and just take a few breaths and a few moments to savor the moment. Breathe the eyes open, come back into the space you're working in. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope it's helped you to gain a little bit more awareness of your alignment, what alignment maybe means to you, and just thinking, yeah, the best options for your body. If you've enjoyed this practice, hit like, hit subscribe, maybe do it again next week as well. I release weekly videos every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Yoga, singing, yoga and singing. Thanks again for joining me and have a great day.